Have you read about Islam? Does it make sense to you? Is it clear to you? What is that which is not clear to you? Tell me. The thing which is not clear to you, what are they? Huh? No, look, you said Islam is clear to you, but certain things not clear to you, like what? You believe in one God? Say again? Yeah, but I'm saying, do you believe in a creator?
One that made you.
Yeah, you believe in a creator, and you believe you have a purpose in this life. Yeah, like every part of your body has a purpose, your eyes has a purpose, your ears has a purpose. Now, in order for us to know what is our purpose in this life, it has to come from the creator who created us. Just like your phone you're having, if you want to learn about the phone, you go to the maker. Make sense? So when God sent the prophets and messengers, He taught us how to worship the Creator, because our intellect is limited. There's no way for us to know how to worship the Creator. So therefore God sent Moses, Jesus, Abraham. Now the last of them is the Prophet Muhammad, who came to teach us how to worship God alone and to follow His teaching. Because in order for us to have happiness and to fulfill the emptiness in our hearts, nothing will fulfill the emptiness except following God and worshiping God alone. And the reason we believe Prophet Muhammad is a true prophet, one of the reasons that the legislation he came with, which is a perfect way of life to everyone. For example, Islam came to preserve 5 things. You listen here? 5 things, pay attention. Islam came to preserve religion. That's why polytheism, atheism, paganism is forbidden. Because when you do not worship God alone, you start following your desires, then the outcome of that, you become corrupted and you become confused because you're following something which is subjective. Second one, Islam came to preserve intellect, protect intellect. That's why alcohol, wine is forbidden. Islam came, drugs likewise. Islam came to preserve wealth. That's why interest and gambling is forbidden. Islam came to preserve soul. That's why killing and justice is forbidden. So these 5 things Islam came to preserve. The opposite of that is destroying societies. For example, alcohol, is it good for us or bad? Wine, drinking alcohol, is it good or bad? It's bad. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's bad for us individually and collectively. Okay. Interest, what is interest? Interest is usury. Interest, when you make the rich richer, poor poorer. Is it good or bad? It's bad, because what you're doing, because you're rich, utilizing your money to manipulate the people and to make them poorer to make yourself rich. Likewise, gambling is bad for us. Bad gambling, the outcome of gambling, because homeless and so on. Yes, adultery and fornication destroy society, destroy marriages. No doubt about that. It's bad for us because you're destroying people's families and so on. So these 5 things which destroy societies, or 4 things, it goes back to the worst thing. What is the worst thing? Is when you turn away from God and you start worshiping your desires. Instead of becoming a slave of your creator, you become a slave of your desires. And the outcome of that, we can see in our time, corruption and destruction in societies. So if this is the case with Islam, Islam came to preserve these 5 things and to protect the Muslims, the people, and get these 5 things, which is alcohol, gambling and so on. So why some people hate Islam? There's 2 types of people hate Islam. Either they are ignorant, or those who are in power, who are making money from the suffering of the people. And they look at Islam as a threat against their own business. For example, imagine I'm a rich man, I have gambling shops, banks, interest, and all of that, you know, alcohol shops and so on. If you come as a Muslim, start teaching people Islam, I'm gonna look at you as my enemy, even though you want good for the people, individually and collectively. Because I'm a rich man, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna utilize my wealth to make you look bad, even though you're a good person, you want good for people. And this disaster and destruction that we are facing, there is no solution except in the Islamic teaching. So the question that we ask ourselves, how man that existed 1,400 years ago, who couldn't read and write, he came with this perfect legislation for us individually and collectively. But yet we have these politicians who study in the best universities around the world, and they cannot resolve the problems that we are facing. Because that man was sent by the Most High, the All-Knowing, the All-Wise. Does it make sense? Well said. Is it clear to you? Yeah? I'll give you another thing about Islam as well. You know, Islam, for example, Prophet Muhammad prophesied about the future. He said there will come a time when you see the barefooted man, you know about the Arab Bedouins, yeah? They will start competing in building tall buildings. Remember, Prophet Muhammad existed 1,400 years ago. Back in those days, the Arabs, they were not known to build tall buildings. So there was no any indication for the Prophet Muhammad to know that the Arabs will start building tall buildings. But because God gave him the knowledge of the unseen, so he prophesied about that. Let me ask you, maybe you know, where is the tallest building in the world? Where is it? Do you know? Okay, it's in Dubai. People think America, but it's in Dubai. Dubai, 50 years ago, was a pure desert, let alone 1,400 years ago. Now who's competing with them is Saudi. So again, how man that exists 1,400 years ago, prophesizing about something that we can observe right now, because it's a messenger of Allah. Let me say something to you. Imagine, may Allah forbid, yeah? May Allah forbid. Imagine you're in a house and you are surrounded with a fire. You're about to die. Fire is everywhere. You try your best to save yourself, but you couldn't. You tried to save yourself, but you couldn't. You gave up, and I saved your life. What would you say to me at least? Would you remember me all the time? I saved your life, of course. So why don't you say thank you and remember who gave your life for free? I never gave you that life. What I just did, I just helped you. So what about the one who gave your life for free? You know, now person might say, yes, I want to be grateful. I wanna worship my Creator. The second question, if you want to buy a gift for your mother, yeah, would you buy a gift that you love or your mother love? Likewise, if you want to worship the Creator and be grateful to Him, we should worship Him the way He loves, not the way we love. Because the way He loves is objective. The way we love is subjective. That's why He sent the prophets and messengers, and the last of them is the Prophet Muhammad. And this is what is Islam, the foundation when someone wants to become Muslim. That there is no one worthy of worship except Allah. I should worship Allah alone. I should be grateful to my Creator. And Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, meaning I should worship my Creator according to His teaching. Well, you have to understand that all of us here, one day we're going to live this life. How many... Sooner or later, how many people leave the houses and never come back? How many people won't sleep, they never wake up? That's why Allah challenged people with the death. Allah said, قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُم. Say to them, the death that you try to run away from surely will meet you and you return to your Lord. You think Allah created this life without any purpose? Allah far away from His imperfection. This life is a test, so it's for you and I and all of us here to utilize this life to please the Creator before we go to the graveyard. Because those people in the graveyard, they were just like you and I, speaking and joking and walking around doing shopping. Now they are inside the graves. Now it's too late for them. They cannot come back to righteous actions. But now we have the chance. If you believe in God and believe in Islam, Islam means submission to the Creator. If you believe in Islam, it's salvation, and you go to paradise, which the eyes never seen, the heart never thought of, and the ears never heard of. And if you disbelieve, then it's the hellfire, because we can see the effects. We can see the effects of the attribute of the Creator, His mercy, His wisdom, and His anger. What I said so far, does it make sense? Is it clear to you? I'm inviting you to become Muslim. If it makes sense, remember, you say it makes sense. I'm not saying it makes sense. Of course, I say that as well. But what I've just did, I broke down Islam to you in a way you never thought of. And you say it makes sense to you. Why you don't want to worship the Creator? You remember when I said to you, if I saved your life, you don't say, Shamsi, you know what, give me time to think before I say thank you. No, you're going to thank me straight away. But I never gave you life. I'm just someone who saved you. What about the one who gave you life? What about the one who gave you everything? That's why, Islamically speaking, Allah will never punish people until the proof become established upon them. So what I'm saying, it is clear, it makes sense, accept it. Person might say, I can't do everything. The example I always give, imagine you have a big cake in front of you. Big cake, yeah? And you eat all of it at once. What will happen to you? You vomit. You get sick and you vomit. So in order for you to feel the sweetness of the cake, you take it bit by bit, correct? Likewise, Islam step by step. Shahadatan, which is the true testimony, then the prayer, then you start learning, because you want to get connected to your Creator, to the one who gave you everything. If it makes sense, I'm invited to become Muslim. How you become Muslim? To say what I have explained to you, that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah, Muhammad, the messenger of Allah. You said it makes sense to you. You believe it's the truth. So let's become Muslim. Alhamdulillah. Wallah, it's a big blessing. It's a big blessing for you. Remember, it is the truth. How many years been cutting off? You remember, you know, there's no true meaning of life when you know your Lord, when you worship your Lord. So if you read it and it makes sense to you, I'm inviting you to become Muslim. I will say in Arabic, I'll translate the meaning. I bear witness, there is no one worthy of worship except Allah, and I bear witness Muhammad, the messenger of Allah. And you start learning step by step, alhamdulillah. Okay.
Never.
Yeah, the miracle of the Quran, like I mentioned, the legislation and so on. So I'm inviting you to become Muslim. You become Muslim? No problem, I can think about it, no doubt about that. But you already, I don't want to put in pressure, by the way, but what I would say to you, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us, when someone wants to become Muslim, Satan, the devil, will try to put barriers. You understand? How are you going to think, okay, no problem, you're going to read more, but what I'm saying, that if the foundation is clear, you don't have to read more to accept Islam if the foundation of Islam is truth. You understand? What I would say to you, may Allah forbid, yeah? May Allah forbid. Imagine you die right today. What would be your excuse before your God for not accepting Islam? What valid excuse you think you have before God? Say, oh God, oh my Creator, the reason I reject Islam because such and such. And you think your Creator, the grateful, the greatest, the powerful Creator will accept that excuse even though you just told me it makes sense and you believe it's the truth. You don't know because there's nothing. What is it? Is a Satan. And let me tell you something. Imagine you know someone is your worst enemy. Imagine you know someone is your worst enemy. Would you take advice from him? Not maybe, of course not, because he's your worst enemy. Remember, he's just looking for anything to destroy you. So now, what I just did, I broke down Islam and you went in line with universal knowledge. You know what is universal knowledge? Every human being, Muslim or non-Muslim, we have something called universal knowledge. Sound reasoning, natural inclination, our observation, and Islam, and that sound reasoning and natural inclination goes like this, clicking. So the one who gave you that is the same one who sent Prophet Muhammad with that legislation. So that's why when I explain Islam to you and I broke it down, you said it makes sense, is the truth. Because what you have inside you is God gave it to you. And what I have explained to you was sent by God, that's why they clicked in. So you have no excuse for accepting Islam. Because if you want to learn how to drive, of course you go inside the car and you learn. You know? Not outside the car. So I'm saying, look, what I'm saying, if you make sense and you believe is the truth. You believe is the truth and it makes sense? No doubt about that. Become Muslim. Alhamdulillah. Listen, if you love your mother with your heart, would you not say it to her? Of course you're not saying, my mother, I love you. You're not saying, no, my mother, I do love you, but let me think about it. You're not going to say that, innit? Doesn't make any sense. So remember, if you accept it's the truth, then you profess it, they're witness here, and don't worry about these people because none of them are going to come inside the grave. Not inside my grave. So what I'm saying, accept it and go and we get in contact to learn and more and more. So the two testimony I bear witness, there's no one worthy of worship except Allah. Wallahi, this is what you've been created for. But because of society that you've been brought up, they took you away from it. But look, you never knew that you're going to meet us. You met us now. Look, Islam makes sense. Not like Christianity. God is baby, become a baby. Baby is God, but God is not a baby. Confusion. Islam, God is a perfect, the creator of everything. So, I'm inviting you because I want to get a reward for that. That's why I'm inviting. That's why. Because Prophet Muhammad told us, when a person becomes a Muslim through you, it's better than the world what is in it. So what I'm saying, if it makes sense of the truth, I don't know what you're gonna think about. Is this a table? You're not gonna tell me, you know what? Is it true table? True table. You're not gonna say, you know what? Let me think about it. You can read after about the two testimony. Alhamdulillah, someone become Muslim today. Yeah, you don't missed it. He was an English guy. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. He's your friend. Yeah, his friend's English guy. Now maybe you tell Alhamdulillah, and Wallah want good for you. I'm not asking you no money, nothing. You understand? There is no one worthy of worship except Allah, Muhammad the Messenger of Allah. These two testimonies, when you say it, because my wife used to read that as well. So when you say it, you're gonna feel the relief. But like I said, I don't want to put pressure, but I'm inviting you because I know Satan is trying to do anything to stop you. You wanna say it? خلاص, okay. Okay, I'm gonna say in Arabic, then I'll try to say in English, yeah? Say أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول Allah. In English, I bear witness there is nothing worthy of worship in truth except Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad is the last messenger and the servant of Allah. Alhamdulillah, you're Muslim now. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Big family now. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah.